Alright, hi everyone. This is a tutorial for how to use Photomechanic for the Photojournalism class. This is how you will use Photomechanic to save and edit and tone and turn in all of your pictures that you take for the class. First thing, you'll need to make sure that you are logged on to one of the lab computers in the Viewfinder Editors lab. This is a special lab that you have keycard access to. It's SC150A. But this class has access Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is for editors only. Before we get started, we need to actually do a few login things to make sure that we can go through this process properly. The first thing that you should make sure that you're logged into once you've logged onto the computer is your OneDrive. And you can do this you should do this through the OneDrive client on the computer. Here's how to find it. Go up to your Spotlight search and start typing in OneDrive. You'll see an app right here. That's what you want to click on. You don't want to click on any of these links down here, but the app itself, it's a OneDrive application that's on the computer. When you click on this, you are going to get a login screen. You'll log in with your Grandview credentials. You can click through all the various, it'll give you a few different options to click through, but just get to this folder, which is your main OneDrive folder. You probably have a bunch of different stuff on here. Maybe you've saved assignments and things like that. You can see I've got stuff in my OneDrive folder. To find this OneDrive folder at any time, once you're logged in, you can go down to the Finder icon down here, click on OneDrive, and there it is. There's your whole OneDrive folder with all your stuff in it. I want you to make a folder for this class inside your OneDrive. So you can right-click anywhere inside this OneDrive folder and choose New Folder and make a class called Photojournalism, and then add your name to the end of it too. That would make it a little bit easier for me. And that is your Photojournalism folder. When you double-click on it, you get to open it up. And I also like to use, instead of this icon mode, I like to use list mode, just a little bit easier for me. And that's all you need to do with OneDrive to start out. So that'll take you a couple minutes. Next thing, these computers have Adobe Photoshop installed on them, but in order to use Photoshop, you're going to have to log in with something called an Adobe ID. You're not paying for anything. The programs are already paid for. It just wants you to log in with an Adobe ID. If you've taken another class in the past that uses any Adobe program, Premiere, Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, you have an Adobe ID already. But if you don't, or if you don't remember your password, that sort of thing, go to a browser and just go to adobe.com. Go up to where it says sign in. If you are not sure what your password is, this is the place where you can do a forgot password thing, or you can click on create account and you will create an Adobe ID. Just don't create an ID with any of these. Make sure to do it with your Grandview email address. So use your Grandview email address, use a password, and that will be your Adobe ID. Just make sure that's a password you can remember. And the last thing you'll need to do is to be able to access Photomechanic. Photomechanic is the program that you'll use for saving, renaming, organizing, selecting, and finally for turning in your photos. Photomechanic is only on these computers that's in the Viewfinder Editor Lab, and to find it, just go up to the Spotlight search up here, type in Photomechanic. You'll see the app right there. It's got a little gear icon. You'll get some stuff about opening the app, that's fine. And I'm also going to just right-click on this and keep it in the dock, so it's just always there. It's going to ask if you want to read files. Definitely click Allow. And then the first time that you use Photomechanic on one of these computers, you're going to have to activate the license for that. So we have a license to this program, and the license key is taped to the front of the computer that you're using. So you click on Activate, and it's in all caps. You just type in those letters. After you've clicked Activate, it is now active on this computer. I'm going to say, don't show me any more tips, and choose Close. And this is what Photomechanic looks like before I have any pictures on my computer. So I can keep this up. If I want to hide it, I can go to Photomechanic and just choose Hide Photomechanic or Command H to make it go away for a second. My next step is to plug in my SD card for my camera. So for your assignment, you're supposed to take a certain number of pictures. I can remove the SD card from my camera, and I'm going to plug it into the SD card reader that's plugged into the computer. The SD card reader is already in the back of the computer somewhere. You can just find it and plug your SD card into it. And you should see your SD card show up. And actually, this is kind of a cool thing. When Photomechanic is open, it automatically realizes, oh, this person has an SD card plugged into the computer. I know exactly what to do. You want to save some photos, right? So that is what you want to do. Here are your steps that you're going to take when you do that. If this doesn't show up, by the way, if you don't have Photo Mechanic open and then you plug in your SD card and you don't see that window, what we just saw was called the ingest window. So I can click on Photo Mechanic, I can go to File, Ingest, or Command G, and it's going to bring up this window. It's the ingest window. Ingesting is a process that we use for saving your pictures and also for renaming them. It is going to also add captions and things like that, moving the pictures from my SD card onto, in this case, onto my OneDrive. So first I need to choose the source path, which is my SD card. In this case, it's called EOS Digital. Yours might have a different name. I have a second thing plugged into here, that's my hard drive, but this is probably, you'll just have one thing there to find. I like to use this box here, incremental ingest. That means it'll only copy over photos that I haven't already ingested. So if you have an issue with that. Source directory structure. For this, I can do ignore, copy all photos into same destination, but copy photos I'm going to do into dated folder, then a folder with a name. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to save them into a dated folder and then a folder with the name, and I'm going to give the name for the assignment. Your first assignment in the class is called Building Mugs, so I will call it Building Mugs is the name of the assignment. So my photos are all going to go into a folder called Building Mugs. Next, I need to choose a destination. Where are these photos going to go? Right now, they're just on an SD card, but I want them to save onto my OneDrive. So I click on Primary Destination, and then I go to OneDrive, and I'm going to find that Photojournalism folder that I made. Click on Open. It's going to go into that Photojournalism folder in your OneDrive. Next, I want to use a Apply Metadata template to these folders, to these photos. Metadata is where you get things like your captions. It is actually little bits of code that are attached to every image. Some default metadata that's on every photo, for example, is the date and time that the picture was taken and things like that. We're going to add some more metadata. I'm just going to click on Metadata IPTC template. And this is all of the information. I can include tons and tons of information into my photo. I definitely want to have my caption, and who took the picture, and I can also make sure that I'm using it, that the date is set correctly. So I'm going to start with my description and caption, and for this I took pictures of people around Grandview University. So I don't know the verb for anything for the caption yet, so I'm just going to say at Grandview University in Des Moines, Iowa, on Friday, August 29th, 2025. And then I'm going to write my name at the bottom there. Now I did this with a lower a because later on I'm going to adjust these captions to have a more complete sentence. It might be like, people walk past a mural, or I might say something else. I'm going to adjust the caption later, but right now I'm just making kind of this boilerplate caption that has my name at the bottom of it. Date is going to be capture time. City, I'm going to add the city. It's going to be Des Moines. State will be Iowa. Just IA is fine. And other things I can put here. I'm going to put, you don't have to put everything in here. I'm just going to add this basic information. You could do event if it's an event, but really I just need a basic caption, city and state, and then I want to make sure I put creator/photographer. So put your name in there. And I want to make sure that I do, your credit also is just you. Oops, not McGoyness. And I'm looking for where I can set the date for the photograph just to make sure that the date is correct. Whatever date is set on your phone is going to be the date that it's set there. I'm going to set it to today, just to make sure. Maybe the capture time on your camera is different, so I'm going to set it to today for the date. Or I can set it if you're turning in photos that you took a different day, you can go to date. So don't do capture time because the capture time on your camera might not be right. Then I'll click today or date. So I took these pictures this morning, so I'll just do that. I'll click. Now I can do, actually, this is kind of a template that I could use again if I want to. I can click on Save. And I'm going to say this is a metadata template. I'm going to call it. And I'm going to save it into that photojournalism folder. Just right in there is fine. Click on Save. Now that's there. I can close template, and I am applying that metadata template to these pictures because I clicked this box. I'm using that template to do this. Now later on, next time you take pictures, you can click on this, and if you don't see all of these things already, you can go to Load, and you can load that metadata template for the next time you take pictures. Okay, last thing I need to do is I need to rename these photos. I click on this, Rename. I'm going to use a sequence, so click on Sequence. It puts this little bit of code at the end. I'm going to move my cursor to the beginning of that, and I'm going to give these photos a name, building mug, your name, I might do that, and then an underscore at the end of that. So building mug, your name, and then an underscore before this fancy SEQN thing. What this means is that the pictures are going to have a new name, the name for the assignment, and a number. And I can set the sequence variable to start at 1, 001 is good. So every picture, instead of having like whatever random name that it had on your SD card, like probably just a bunch of letters and numbers, will now be called the name of the assignment, then your name, then 001, 002, 003, etc. Okay, now I'm ready to hit ingest. Oh, funny. Got some bonus pictures here. It is ingesting the pictures. And great. So now the photos, I can see them in Photo Mechanic, and also they have been saved to my OneDrive. So if I ever want to find them in my OneDrive, I can go to the Finder window down here. I can go to OneDrive, find my photojournalism folder, and here's what Photo Mechanic did. It made a dated folder, 2025-0829. Inside of that folder, it made a folder called Building Mugs, and inside of that folder, all these pictures. These pictures are now in my OneDrive. If I actually went to my GVU and went to my OneDrive through my browser, I would be able to see those photos there as well. So they're saved onto your OneDrive, onto your personal OneDrive. Now, if I want to find them again, it's pretty simple. I go to my OneDrive, go to my photojournalism folder, my dated folder, and I take this folder and just drag and drop it onto the Photo Mechanic icon. And there they are. Did you notice that all of these pictures also have that name, that new name that I gave them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. The next step in the process is to choose my selects, is to choose my 5 to 10 selects, my favorite images from this that I think really give the gist of what I'm trying to go for. So I'm going to go ahead and click through all of them. I'm going to double click on the first one, and I can make this window a bit bigger. Funny photo. I like the picture. Cool photos. Now I'm just going to choose pictures that I think are interesting. When I come to a picture that I think is usable, that I want to use for the assignment, it's one of the main ones that I want to tone and think of as like the main show for my assignment, my favorite pictures. Here's what I do. I'm going to use a process. We call this editing in photojournalism. What I can do is when I see a photo I like, I'm going to hit the number 3 on my keyboard, and it's going to now tag this photograph. My photograph now has a color tag next to it, has this green tag. If I just use the arrows, the key arrows on my keyboard, I could find other pictures. This photo is kind of cool, but it's a little bit too much motion blur. It's kind of blurry in the mural here, so I'm not going to give this one a tag. This one's just, it looks a little bit out of focus. This one also has some motion blur. It's not going to get a tag. This one is a little bit too dark. This one's okay. I might give this one a 3. Got some donuts here. I love donuts. So I'm just giving a number rating. This one has some motion blur that I don't like, so I will not give this one a rating. This one is just the back of 2 people's heads. It's not that interesting. This one's out of focus, so I'm not giving, but this one is in focus, so I'll give this one a rating. I like this cool thing. I was trying to go for a mural shot here. It didn't work, so that one's not going to get a rating. I'm going to go through, and you might end up rating, a bunch of different photos. This is kind of cool. I like this little lens flare. This one's a bit too overexposed. Ugh, it doesn't quite look good. That one's good. Maybe a bit too bright. Just kind of going through. I'm going to look at every single one and just really quickly give little ratings. This one, I don't really like the way the focus is on this. I like that, but I like this one too. I like both of them. I'm just going to rate both of them. I'm going to rate all three of those. I like all three of those. Didn't like this one or this one. Ugh. I like this car. I like these leaves here. I'm going to rate both of these. You can be really generous. If it's in focus and the picture is okay, go ahead and give it a rating. I'm just giving it a 3 rating as I kind of try to narrow things down. Of course, this one's not going to get a rating. These ones, out of focus, too bright. This one, I'll give it a rating. These ones, of course, not going to give anything. And so now, when you close this little window, you will see that some of your images have a cool green label on them, and others do not. Others have no label. I can now narrow it down so I only see the ones that I've given a green label to. The way I do that is to go up here, and I click on this little hide or color class, none. Everything that has no color class is hidden now. So I have, it looks like 23 images here. So that's cool. It's more images than I need to tone. So I'm going to go through again, and the images that are better, that I'm pretty sure I like, I'm going to give a 2 instead of a 3. So this one is okay. I'm not going to rate this one. I think I like the logo, so I'm going to give it a 2, which turns it yellow. This one's okay, but I think this one's a little better, so I'll give this one a 2. This one I think is better than this one, so I'll give this one a 2. I like this one, I'll give it a 2, but I think I like this one a bit better, so I might give this a 2 and move this one back to 3. I think between these two, I think I like this one better. Now here's a cool thing in Photo Mechanic. You can actually compare images side by side by going up here to this side-by-side view. And this allows me to see 2 images side by side, and I can decide which one do I want to give the 2 rating to. I think it's this one. So this one's going to get the 2. Now I'll go back to single view mode. Now I've got to decide between these images. I like them both. I think I like the negative space around her head and this one better, so I'll give this one a 2, and the other ones I'll just leave at a 3 rating. This one is a cool car, but it doesn't really do anything. Between these two, I like this one better. And I got this picture of a guy walking. I like the negative space here, so I'm going to give this one a 2 and not do this one. Okay, so now I've got some images with a green label, some with a yellow label. How do I hide the ones with that green label? Just right up here. Boom. For each assignment, I might be giving you a different number of photos that I want you to tone, edit before turning in. Just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm keeping it like 5 to 10. So I've chosen 8 images here that I like the most. Great. I like these images. I'm going to go ahead and go with them. Now it's time I can actually edit these photos. Before I do this, I can actually caption these images. I need to actually finish the caption for these images. They have a basic caption. They all have the same caption right now at Grandview University in Des Moines, Iowa. I need to give them a basic caption. The way I do that is I'm going to click on the eye icon on the lower left. And this is where I see that caption that I saved the image to, right? It has all that information that I added at the beginning of the process, has my name, has the date and time the image was taken, where I took it, all of that sort of thing. But I need to add something to the beginning of this caption. So what I have is at Grandview University in Des Moines, Iowa on Friday, August 29th. That's not a complete caption. I need to have a subject and a verb, something and something, something doing something and a verb. So I'm going to say a box of donuts sits on a table at Grandview University. I can save this and move on to the next caption by just going save and it will go to the next one. This one I'm going to do a person opens a box of donuts at Grandview University in Des Moines, Iowa. Use this verb tense, opens, simple present tense, not opening, opens. A simple sentence, kind of kindergarten grade sentence. Next, I'm going to say, I need to think of something. I'm going to do a mural hangs at Grandview University. Let's see, sunlight shines through plants. I don't know, at Grandview University. I could do that. You know, I kind of like this caption. I'm going to use the same caption here. Here's what I can do. I can copy this caption, save. I can paste it into this next one. Nice. I'm going to do a person walks toward the student center. Save it. I'm going to say sun shines on a sidewalk, maybe. I don't know. Save and then again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy this one, copy from here, move to this one. It's the same thing. So I'm going to hit paste and save. And now all of my photos have a complete custom caption for each image. Great. So my images all have captions. Now it's time for me to make any sort of changes I might need to make to the brightness, contrast, that sort of thing. Before I do that, I want to make a folder in my OneDrive. I'm going to go to my OneDrive. In my photojournalism class, I have my dated folder, I have my metadata. I'm going to make one more folder in here, just inside the main photojournalism folder. If it's a list, you can do it like this. If it's icons, like this. I'm going to right-click, new folder, and I'm going to call this my to transmit folder. This is kind of a photojournalism term, but this just means these are the photos that I actually I would want them to be published because I've done some edits to them. So I've made a to transmit folder. So this folder is all of my dated folders with all my different assignments. This will be the complete takes for every assignment, and this will be my real edited photos. Okay. Go back to Photo Mechanic. I'm going to select all of these pictures. I could just do Command A, or I think I'm just do Command A to select them all. And I'm going to open Photoshop on my computer. To find Photoshop, go to your Spotlight, type in Photoshop. It'll open up. And the first time you open up Photoshop on a computer, you're going to have to sign in with that Adobe ID that you created at the beginning of this class. I'm going to go ahead and make Photoshop stay in the dock. So it's there. Then go to Photo Mechanic. I'm going to just drag and drop these photos onto Photoshop. And it's going to open them up. So I have 8 pictures open in Photoshop. It opens them in different tabs, like this, just like on your browser. I can start with this one at the end. I can also see the full list of them here. And this is where I can make some basic toning edits to my images. I can also resize the image to make it a little bit smaller. We're going to cover toning edits in another class, but in general, I want to have it so that I have an even tone around the image. If I go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter, that's a great place for me to get some basic toning stuff that it's kind of an all-in-one shot. So the first thing I can do is I can do an auto edit and see what it thinks it wants to do. So it sort of toned things down a little bit. It brought the highlights down. And I just want to make it so that nothing is too bright in the image. Like this would obviously not be right. And also that nothing is too dark in the image. I like to have a little bit of contrast, a little bit of highlights here, and we will go over some more basic edits later on. White balance. I can do the white balance that my camera chose. I can do auto, see what Photoshop thinks the white balance should be. And I can adjust it myself too. I think the auto is not good. So I'm going to use as shot, but I am going to give it a little bit less warmth, a little bit too warm. I'm going to make it a little bit cooler, give it a little bit more green. I don't need to worry about these other effects here. If anything, maybe you can use the curve to add a little bit of contrast. But really, if you just do light and color, those are the main things that you need, and you'll get those in that Camera Raw filter. Click OK. And last thing, I'm actually gonna crop this image. I'm not gonna crop anything out, but I'm gonna change the size of the image. I go to Image, and Image Size. I'm gonna choose, under here I'm gonna choose Pixels. And I want the image on its long edge. So whichever one is its long edge, I want it to be 2,000 pixels. So instead of it was originally 6,000 pixels wide, I'm gonna make it 2,000 pixels wide instead. I can keep this resolution at 300 and click OK. That's made this image a little bit smaller. To see it at its full size, you can just do Command 1. And then I'm gonna use my hand tool to get this back into shape there so I can see it. You can also zoom out by holding the Option key and then scrolling with your mouse. And there it is. That's what the image looks like. It's been resized. Now I do not want to save. I don't want to override my original image. My original image was bigger than this one, but I want to save this one into that transmit folder. So I'm going to choose Save As. And then I'm going to click on this little arrow right here. It gives me more options. You're probably already in your Building Mugs folder, but I want to go to my To Transmit folder. And this photo is going to go in my To Transmit folder. It's going to be called Building Mug McGinnis 010. Again, don't save it in the Building Mugs folder because then it will be overriding that original image. I want to keep that the way it is. In my Transmit folder, it should be a JPEG. click Save. It's going to maybe ask you a question from OneDrive, so click Allow. Go ahead and choose the maximum size, or maximum quality. Click OK. And now this saved version is in my transmit folder. There it is. There's the image. And you can see it looks a little bit different than the original one. The original one looked like this. And my saved one has a little bit more contrast. And it's a little bit smaller too. Okay, so you can always go back to the original, but this one is done. I can click this little X and make that one go away. I'm gonna do the same thing again with this one. I'm gonna go to my filter, my camera raw filter. If you click on this, it will do the things that you did last time to this image, but I might wanna do different things. So I'm gonna go down here to camera raw filter. Also the shortcut for this is Shift Command A. Now let's just see what Photoshop thinks might be a good way to set this. Oh, that looks pretty nice. It gave me a little bit more of the sky, gave me a little bit more in the shadows. I think I might just give this a little bit more, a touch more contrast. Maybe a little bit more highlights. And let's see what it thinks for temperature. It made it quite a bit more yellow, and when I chose auto, I kind of like it, but I might just cool that down a little bit. It's a little bit to your taste. Click OK. Okay, lovely. Next, again, I'm going to do my image size thing. I'm going to go to Image, Image Size. I'm going to make it so the bigger number, so 6,000 by 4,000, I'm going to make this bigger number, 6,000, I'm going to make it 2,000, 2,000 pixels. Click OK. Again, I've made my image smaller. That's why it shows up smaller here. I can zoom in just by using the Option and then scroll, and then use my hand tool to kind of move it around the canvas. I'll give it one last look. I like the way it looks. Now I'm going to do File, not Save, but Save As. And again, it's going to go in this transmit folder. It can have the same name and all of that, but just in the transmit folder, clicking Save. It's a JPEG, highest resolution, done. I can close this one, and I'll go through that process for each of the images. Okay, so I've saved all of my pictures into my transmit folder. So anytime I want to find the original images, I can just go to my OneDrive, go to my photojournalism folder, go to that dated folder, so the date that I took the pictures, right there, there it is. Go to that building mugs, and I can just drop building mugs onto Photomechanic, and I will see all of the photos that have not been toned. I haven't touched them with Photoshop, anything like that yet. If I want to see the photos that I edited, I just go to my Finder. I'm going to go back to this transmit folder. I can also throw these into Photomechanic and see them there too. And you can sort of see the difference between them when you look back and forth. I can look at them again, give them one last look. I can check their metadata, make sure that looks okay. And that looks good. And now I'm ready to actually turn the images in. So here's how you'll turn them in to Blackboard to turn in the assignment. Go to your MyGVU. All right, go to our Blackboard page. Go under Courses and find the Photojournalism course and find the assignment. In this case, it's the Building Mugs assignment down in here. Here's what I'd like you to do. For this assignment, I said before 10 p.m. on the deadline, submit 5 to 10 of your favorite images along with a link to your OneDrive folder. I said you don't need to tone the images in Photoshop, but I think you might as well go ahead and tone them and rename them. So I'm going to actually change this so that it says you need to at least resize them. Okay, I'm going to go into the assignment here, and I'll show you what to turn in for this. I've taken classes with me before. This might seem familiar. First, I'll click on Create Submission, and in here under Create Submission, I need to give a link. That link is going to be a link to my OneDrive. So back on MyGVU, under Dashboard and then Office 365, you should have this thing called Files. I can go here to see all of my files. This is my personal OneDrive. I can go into here, and I'm going to find that Photojournalism folder. Photojournalism, I can click on the share icon right here and click on this copy link. Now, please don't click copy and paste this link up here. That will not work. Have to go to the Photojournalism folder that you just made, click the share icon, copy link is what will do it. Then go back to Blackboard, and under Create Submission, click anywhere in here under Create Submission and do Command V, and it will share a link there. It might look funny, that's okay, I can still access it. Then under Upload Files, this is where I'd like you to upload your favorite files. So click on Browse Local Files, go to OneDrive here, find that photojournalism folder, your transmit, and just select all of the ones that you did for this, your favorites from this assignment. I can click on the first one for building mugs, hold Shift, find the last one, and click Upload. It's going to upload those images just of the building mug. And again, do it for each assignment as it works. There it is, the link. So this is so I can see that you took the number of photos you're supposed to take, and this is so I can see your favorites. Then you click Submit, and it might take a minute because the photos have to submit. Because we resized them, it shouldn't take quite so long. And then you have completed the assignment. Well done. That is how we do our basic photo mechanic and Photoshop process in this class.